So,
from the docket first.
what's the first thing on the docket?
Yep.
First thing on the docket is to sit here and talk about our new show. So here's
What is this?
Oh yeah, Black Panther 2.
Woo-wee, let's go.
Oh man, this is gonna take a while. I don't even think we're gonna do an intro. Just go right into it, right?
Let's go. I'm here. I'm ready.
So the whole conversation is about Kevin Feige's statement towards Black Panther 2 moving forward and the direction of the film.
Woo!
So essentially, he announced that in honor of Chad, I'm sorry, excuse me, hold on. In honor of Chad, they're chosen not to recast the role of T'Challa, and instead they're going to explore the other characters that were first introduced in the original Black Panther movie in the sequel, and expand on the world and the characters in honor of Chad.
So can we talk about what was actually said? Because I think, first of all, be sure to go check out E-Man's movie reviews. I'm going to have a video about all of this, so we can go into further detail, but we're going to scratch the surface here. First and foremost, I want people to actually read and watch carefully how this quote came out. And the reason why I say that is because people are making a lot of assumptions. And maybe some of it is true, maybe some of it is wrong, but we don't know. And all we can go off of is what was literally said and what was literally presented. Because there was no way Marvel was going to release anything that wasn't perfectly scripted and planned first. Like, to the word, right? When you watch, just to kind of give you a quick summation, I'm not going to go through the whole details. When you watch the quote of when Kevin Feige was saying this, or even if you read it, at the very beginning, he starts talking about the loss of Chadwick Boseman. And because of the loss, because they want to honor him, they will not recast the character. Full stop. That's it. Did nobody say nothing about Black Panther 2? There was no Black Panther 2 sign in the background. There was no, sign on the title or nothing. That's it. We miss Chadwick Boseman to honor him. We're not going to recast the character. Stop. By the way, for Black Panther 2, we're going to explore the world of Wakanda, visit the characters that were in the other film, and Ryan Coogler's hard at work. That's the only information we got for Black Panther 2. But people are assuming and connecting the news about Chadwick with Black Panther 2, and the assumption is, oh, they just won't recast him in that movie. And I'm just saying, all I'm saying is, that's not what was said. That could be the case,
right?
But that's not what was said. And people are going to be in for a huge disappointment when Black Panther 3 comes out and you still ain't got a T'Challa. You
almost said we ain't gonna have a Black Panther. We're gonna have a Black Panther.
I was gonna say that, but I'm careful. We won't have a T'Challa, and even that, I don't think people recognize how audiences don't really have the same mindset. I'm not saying everybody. Right. I'm just saying the average moviegoer does not think creatively about movies because everybody's coming from a different perspective. You and I, we're watching a movie through a critical eye, right?
Yeah.
The average audience member is looking through the entertainment eye, right? So it's two different perspectives. One is not better than the other. It's just two different lenses. Because of those different lenses, audiences might look through the entertainment eye and sit here and be like, you know what? I can't see nobody else except for Chadwick to play the role. Well, that's because you're not looking through your critical eye. You're not giving the chance for anyone else to come in and impress you.
That's fine. But listen, honestly, I've been on the other side of the argument that we don't need T'Challa.
Excuse me?
We don't need T'Challa.
Lies.
Like,
Lives.
here's the thing. Hear me out. The other argument is, you could literally bring in another character and start giving him those stories. Now, I understand that there's a huge attachment to Chadwick Boseman and T'Challa, but I have also learned that the capable minds of Kevin Feige and his team of writers are pretty good, especially with Ryan Coogler and company helping out.
So let me explain this a little bit better. This isn't a matter of like one option right and the other one being wrong. It's not about right. It's about degrees. It's levels to this. Could Ryan Coogler, Nate Moore, and Kevin Feige cook up something that's still entertaining?
Yes.
Absolutely. Would it be a better and simpler option to just recast them? 100 times yes. Why? You can honor the real life actor and still not compromise the fictional character.
But we don't need the fictional character.
No, that's not true. The fictional character should get the same level of respect. The fictional character should get the same level of respect as the other white counterpart characters do. Because keep in mind, this is the only leading black superhero. Like, this is all we have in Marvel. Not Falcon, who's a supporting character. Not Rhodey, War Machine, who's a supporting character. We're talking about a leading
Why are you just saying Hancock, man? Why are you just saying Hancock?
I'm talking about in Marvel. I'm talking about only in Marvel. I'm saying, though, this is the only leading one that has the opportunity and the potential to become as popular as a Captain America or Iron Man. And those other characters, they had the luxury, they had the privilege of having their story arcs completed. T'Challa's story is not done. We just got done seeing him. We just got done seeing him be like, immature, emotional in Civil War. And then when he got to Black Panther, he matured up. He realized he started to gain his little, his worldview on how to be a king. Then he made the
Infinity War. He was on a whole new level.
Kind of. I mean, Infinity War was not something to develop Black Panther like at all. So let's not even give him that.
Hold on. We had small insights into Wakanda. Okay, it developed more Wakanda than anything.
He showed up and they used Wakanda as a battlefield. That's a whole nother discussion.
It was more than that. There was more about Shuri, her technology, her capabilities.
I don't care about that. That's a whole different conversation. I'm talking about the character of T'Challa. I'm talking about him specifically. His story only really started to begin at the end of Black Panther, because when he opened up the world of Wakanda, I don't care who you are. If you've ever read one comic story of T'Challa, and these don't have to be straight up adaptations, you always know the number one thing that drives his character, that drives his narrative, is the decision making that he makes and how it affects Wakanda, how it affects the outside world, and how he's always between that. We have yet to see that in the MCU.
You're not going to get any argument here, right? They didn't get a chance to finish the story of T'Challa the way they intended. I'm not arguing that. What I'm saying is that we don't need T'Challa from here on out. We can start with either a new character or they can pass the story on to someone else.
And that's my problem. That's not something that would ever happen to a white character. And it's not fair. You're not doing an honor by doing this. This is something, again, you should definitely go check out on my video. This is that racist Hollywood math that ends up happening. When it comes to black characters, we get subtraction and division where, hey, if something happens, let's just substitute this for this. But when it comes to white characters, you get recast, you get sequels, you get other people to play your roles.
Or you get Kevin Spacey, and then you get cut out of your own show. And they pass the character on to the story on to someone else.
They got so many actors and so many characters. It doesn't matter. It's fine. It's not applicable. It's not applicable.
I was just talking about like House of Cards. Like House of Cards, they literally took out their main character.
How many other shows? But what I'm saying is, when you don't have that many black characters, when you don't have that many black shows,
that's two different topics, though, right? There's one topic about whether or not it's possible to create a compelling story, and then there's another thing about whether or not it'll feel right.
I don't think it'll feel right. I think it'll feel like it's substitution and it's division whereas that would not be the case with anybody else. Didn't nobody sit here and say, yo, let's stop the Hulk and not recast them because, whatever reason. They went ahead and just did it because, he died to Marvel in a different way, like he said to them in a different way. But what I'm saying is Marvel saw that it was so important to continue the story that they just recast. And they didn't sit here and be like, you know what? Let's give someone else's Hulk story. Let's do that since things didn't work out with us and Ed Norton. No, they was like, no, Hulk's story is so important. Because we even can't even give him a movie because of rights and stuff, we're going to have his story told through multiple movies. Anyway. Look, I'll tell you something.
Ed Norton.
When it comes to Ed Norton, Marvel did not sit here and be like, yo, even though you dead to us, we're going to stop. Right? Marvel didn't do that. Okay. And I know this is not apples to apples. It's a different comparison. I get that. Yes. But what I'm saying, though, is Marvel deemed Hulk's character so important that his stories needed to continue. Thus, they went ahead and recasted him. So the problem I have with them is they're basically saying, we honor the real life Chadwick so much, which is understandable, and that's cool. Yes. I respect that. I'm not saying they're wrong for that. But the problem is they honor him so much that they're willing to compromise the stories of T'Challa. And T'Challa does have more stories. It's not. Go ahead.
Walter, but the other argument is that you might just be a little bit in your feelings, right? So it could just be. So hold on. Hear me out. It could also be that. In their feelings, but here's the thing. So hold on. So we talk about how, on one hand, Marvel and Hollywood doesn't typically have an issue with recasting white male leads, but the other devil's advocate argument could be we ain't never had a black lead for them to get this opportunity, right? This is the first time they gave us a real big.
So black they cut us short.
It's so not cutting. They're not cutting us. It's not by choice.
They're cutting his. They're cutting fiction. No, that's with the real actor. Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let's use that logic. It was a tragedy. Yes, it was old age. Stan Lee died. Marvel didn't pump the brakes on Marvel because
they didn't recast his cameos. They didn't start having Kevin Feige start popping up in movies.
No, they could have. They could have. They could have been like, yo, he just transformed. No, I'm just playing.
Yeah.
The difference though is the fact that the stories have been told. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why it feels War Machine also got recast, right? And I'm sitting here thinking to myself a couple. They don't have a problem recasting unless they have to sit here and be like, you know what? That person's story needs to continue. We need Rhodey to continue for Iron Man 2, 3, 4, 5, etc.
This is different. This is somebody.
Of course, it's different. What I'm saying is, even though it's different, here's the other problem. You're stifling the ability for him to add on to his own legacy. He doesn't have the opportunity. T'Challa. I'm talking about T'Challa.
Oh.
I'm not talking about Chadwick. Let's be very clear.
So we're not going to get T'Challa marry Storm. Okay.
No. Right. But when I'm talking about this, I'm not talking about Chadwick Boseman specifically. I'm talking about the fictional character and the story arc of T'Challa. Yes. Chadwick Boseman is amazing. You ain't got to talk to me about Chadwick Boseman, okay? I'm 110%, I'm there. My issue is the impact and the work that he put into the character is now coming to a crashing halt. And that's not fair to the work that he put into it, because he did not put in that work for it to just be stopped. Yes, it might be a humbling, honor or whatever. I get that. That's cool. Yes. But at the same time, I built this road.
Once upon a time, I didn't want a Spider-Man movie without Peter Parker, and then I got Miles Morales. I'm okay with them putting new characters in these.
But here's the thing. Miles Morales stopped Peter Parker. Did Miles Morales stop Peter Parker?
The movie started with them killing Peter Parker.
No, I'm talking about the fact that did you stop getting Spider-Man Peter Parker movies just because Miles Morales exists?
Hold on. T'Challa still exists in other
what
mediums, though. But T'Challa still exists in other mediums. They didn't just get rid of T'Challa. Right? T'Challa's still in cartoons. He's still in comic books. And who knows what other mediums. He's still in What If.
Stop it. That's not the conversation. We're talking about the MCU. And what I'm saying is, with your Miles Morales example, they didn't sit here and play substitution or subtraction. They did addition. They added Miles, which is great. They added Peter, and by the way, they still kept Peter Parker in there. They killed the other version.
They killed the
616 version, the 616 version, the Golden Child. They left him alone. They made him fat.
We don't even know we don't even know which version we got.
He was confirmed. Okay, he was confirmed. He was 616. He said he was Earth 616. We know that he was Peter Parker. That's besides the point. That's besides the point. Doesn't matter. Yep. The point is, my thing is this. I don't want to do subtraction and division with our black characters because we have so few of them to do that with. You can do subtraction and division with white characters because guess what? They've been adding and multiplying for years. They can afford the losses. Black characters and black story arcs cannot. We finally got that, I don't. What?
It was an interesting character. I think we were talking about it recently. I remember one was like Harley Quinn, and then there was X-23. We were having a conversation about X-23, and I was telling you about how some of the most profound characters, some of the most impactful characters of the last 20 years in comics came from when these television properties and these movie properties and these outside comic properties had their back against the wall and had to make a new character.
Sure.
Right? So when we have talented people like Kevin Feige and Ryan Coogler and the likes following in the footsteps of like Bruce Timm and the others of having to create new characters, I think I trust these guys' ability not only to come up with a character that could be profound, but also maybe as impactful as T'Challa was if given opportunity to grow.
But you're not refuting what I'm saying. When you talk about adding a new character, that's substitution. It's substitution. It's not. If you want to add a new character while T'Challa's
also
around,
never said that they were killing off T'Challa.
Huh?
They never said they were going to kill off T'Challa.
I'm glad you said that, because when you say that you're not going to recast them, there are three options really that can mean. The first option is that they kill him. That's the first option. Like, if we're not going to literally see him, he's probably dead somewhere. The second option is to put him in the background, like, Paul Walker and Fast and Furious, right? So he lives, but we just never see him. Or maybe we see him in a suit somewhere, but we never hear him. We never see him without his mask.
That's true.
Maybe. I don't really like that, but maybe. The third option is you do the multiverse. If you do the multiverse, bring in another version of T'Challa, that can be acceptable mainly because you have preserved the 616 version of Chadwick Boseman's, and you just happen to bring a different one. And that helps the audience, in my opinion, reconcile the fact that, you know what? Our T'Challa with Chadwick Boseman, he's off, doing whatever he's doing. He's great. Hey. But now we have a different one. This is Earth 2 T'Challa or whatever. And we're good.
Wonderful theory for this, and you can still take it if you want.
Uh-huh.
They're going to send him off camera. He's going to be off building the intergalactic empire of Wakanda. And Black Panther 2 is going to be all about them figuring out how to manage in his absence. And then further down the line, they're going to find that T'Challa's on some planet and he looks different.
He just looks different. Hey, look. If you want to pull the Aunt Viv move, I guess.
Right? You want recasting. I'm saying that it's possible.
That's the thing. Now, that's the thing. I want Kevin Feige and Ryan Coogler to use their creative juices to figure that out. And I think that'll be an easier route for them to explain away versus substituting the character or replacing his story arc with somebody else and doing all this juggling around and rewriting. It's not necessary. And to me, it does a disservice. Chadwick sat here with cancer, mind you, working to build up his character for multiple movies, because keep in mind, his contract was discovered.
It might not have been about his character. It might have been about the symbol.
But
right? He was being a hero as a symbol.
He was still in it, right? Everything that he was building up to, even up to Black Panther 3, which was in his contract, he was contributing to that. And like I said, his story was his story, not Wakanda, not anybody. His story was really starting at the end of Black Panther. Black Panther 2 should have been just like Thor, because look at how Thor was. It's kind of similar story arcs, right? Like how to be a king, I want to be a good man, blah, blah, blah.
Nobody wanted to go to Asgard after that movie came out. When Black Panther came out, we had real airports putting up signs like this way to Wakanda.
Is that not what Kevin Feige just said? We're going to explore the other world stories of Wakanda, and we're going to explore the other characters. What does that mean?
One of two things is going to happen. They're either going to kill him off and put somebody else in the role, or they're going to recast him. We know the truth, right? We know the hard truth deep down, because at the end of the day, these are still corporations in the interest of making money. So they're not going to not make Black Panther movies for years to come. They're going to keep doing that. They're going to keep doing that.
I think it's a huge gamble. And that's another thing that a lot of people are not talking about, and they're not thinking about. You tell me, does Black Panther 2 have high expectations or not?
Does Marvel miss?
Yes! What?
And you can't say Ant-Man.
Captain Marvel?
that was a $1 billion movie.
It was still a miss. It was critically panned. It was terrible. People watched it.
It was financially sound.
People watched it financially because it was leading up to Endgame, one of the biggest movies ever.
That Captain Marvel 2 will do something similar?
No, it was strategically placed there for a reason. And I'm glad you brought up Captain Marvel 2, because if it was so good, why did they get rid of the writers and directors? Why did they get rid of them? I have to bring up Black Panther. I told you not to do this. Told you I was ready and cooking for this. If Captain Marvel was so good, why is it like one of the lowest rated on Rotten Tomatoes for MCU films? Why did they get rid of the writer and director if it was so good?
That's a weak argument, because very few Marvel movies keep the writer and director from the first movie.
Except for the successful ones. Russo brothers, Peyton Reed, Ryan Coogler.
Financially successful, and they got rid of Steven Johnson. John Favreau,
Taika Waititi. All the movies that are critically acclaimed and that made the money. Jon Favreau? Come on, man. Favreau, he just started getting hot.
Disney exclusive.
Who?
It's been Disney
Favreau?
For a while, yeah.
Yes, but what I'm saying is, like, when they find something good, they stick with the director. That's why Thor has gone through 4 directors. Thor has gone through 4 directors. And they've only had 3 movies. Remember, Patty Jenkins was supposed to do Thor 2.
We don't know how many directors these movies go through, right? We have no idea how many. Avengers went through some directors. We don't know.
And Joss Whedon, didn't they? They stuck with Joss Whedon, didn't they, for Avengers 2? And the second Avengers 2 did not do as well. It did money, but as soon as it wasn't critically acclaimed the same way, Avengers 2, he quit because Marvel came out and said it was a disappointment. Come on, man. That was a mutual parting.
No way. I don't think they were in a position to get rid of Whedon yet, because that was when they were just now cracking into the box office.
They were hoping so much more for Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Of course they were, but
the money they made.
But based off of historic trajectories, a sequel almost never makes the box office of the original. So actually, as based off of realistic expectations, yes.
What?
At that time.
I agree. Iron Man 3 made a lot of
hold
money.
on, no. At that time, sequels historically didn't open to the same box office as their predecessors. That's a fact.
Okay, yes, okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
right? Avengers and the MCU started to buck the trend.
Yeah,
That's why I'm saying no. Marvel didn't feel comfortable getting rid of Joss Whedon, and they didn't even know that they were breaking trends.
They got rid of him because Age of Ultron fell below expectations. That was it. And Whedon was hot. Whedon, because he came off of that, he had options, and he was like, "Yo."
Hot when he was done, he was still hot.
Hence why he got picked, handpicked for Justice League, and that's a whole nother conversation.
He also took a few years off, and who knows what he was doing in that time. Yeah. But
recast T'Challa. It is the easiest thing to do. You throw up the tribute video. You throw up the intro to honor Chadwick Boseman.
Not a safe business move. It's not a safe business,
man.
Okay, you gotta understand. Disney has a history where they have to be sensitive to what they say and do.
So. And what I'm saying is, this is a situation where you become overly woke. This is a situation where you are stifling the opportunity of another black actor who could come in and potentially rock the mess out of that character.
If they just bring in a new character.
No. Okay, what are you trying to do with a new character? You gonna bring in a whole new character and bring him into this movie? Yeah. Into this movie? And that brings in my other point. Postpone Black Panther 2. Black Panther 2, a movie with this high of expectations. We're not talking about AntMan for the first time. We're not talking about the first Guardians of the Galaxy. We're not talking about movies that we have no expectations with. Black Panther 2 has huge expectations, and because of that, that is not the time to sit here and do world building and introducing brand new characters. You do stuff like that in a Disney Plus show. Put it in a Disney Plus show. Give us the Wakanda show because of the tragedy. So then we cannot go into. So because here's the thing. The people that are going into Black Panther 2 right now, Chadwick is still going to be on your mind. It's still going to be fresh in your mind. However, because the Disney Plus shows are directly tied into the movies, now Marvel can reverse course, because the original course is do a trilogy and then maybe a spinoff. Now they can start doing a show, build up supporting characters, build up the narrative, have a climactic ending in the movies, and that will quell a lot of the anxiety.
We don't know a show is not coming.
Ain't nothing been reported. You right. We haven't.
You don't know that one's not coming, right? They haven't announced one, but
reported. They need look. If they gonna do something, it's 2021 right now. Okay, it's 20. It's not 2020 no more.
They got time. All right, because Black Panther 2. You know when Black Panther 2 is supposed to come out?
July of 2022.
So they got time.
They got a year and a half.
That's enough time to make a show. Yeah.
Hey, starting today. Look, unless y'all announce it, y'all better announce something right now. Announce it right now.
No, they're not going to do that. Marvel doesn't need to announce it
right now.
They can announce it whenever they feel like it. We know that. We know they can keep the secret.
That is true, because they did that with Mandalorian really well. Like, didn't nobody know about the Book of Boba Fett. So all I'm saying, matter of fact, I'm gonna drop that. I'm gonna spoiler. I'm gonna drop that sooner than later. But I'm gonna just say that yes, absolutely, Marvel needs to drop a Wakanda show first, because that'll give time.
Earlier, because they were talking about how they produce the show. So something that's very different than most typical shows. They don't do things in sequential order, like record and then edit and then VFX. They do them simultaneously. So as soon as the footage is done, they send it straight to VFX, and then the VFX people.
That's because of how they're shooting it, though. Have you seen like the cylindrical, basically green screen product? Look it up. Watch the. It's like a separate Disney Plus show about like making of the Mandalorian. They have this dope thing. It's basically like a 3D stage in a sense of a green screen or something like that, just surrounds everything. And it's beautiful, but it helps them shoot, like you said, and immediately go into the VFX production side of it, because all of it, or majority of it, is special effects. So yeah, it's very fascinating stuff.
I know we don't have time for this.
Don't do it.
It should be its own video.
Don't do it.
It could be a nice little, question to the audience.
All right.
What about letting Shuri take over as Black Panther?
I have no problem with that. Later. I'm serious. I got no problem with that later. I'm totally down for what Shuri represents. I love what she can do. But the current Shuri that we have right now, I think she needs some more time to develop. And if we got to be honest, Letitia Wright ain't carrying no movie. She's just not. Here's a simple test. I'll give you the simple test. This is the easy test. Any moviegoer can get this. If I say, all you got to do is fill in the blank. Fill in the blank game, right? Mm-hmm. If I say, fill in the blank, got a movie, see that, that's all you need. Yeah. Denzel got a movie. Yeah, right. I'm going to go see that. Yeah, Will Smith got a movie. I'm going to go see that. Yeah, why? Because you don't even need to know what the story's about. You don't even know what it's that person. They got that it factor. I'll give you another one. Anthony Mackie got a movie out. Letitia Wright got a movie coming out.
You ain't right.
All I'm saying, and I'm asking people to be honest. No, I'm just asking people to be honest with themselves. If you can play that,
do that test. I got a test right here.
Play that game. Thing. If it works, all power to you.
Joaquin Phoenix got a movie coming out.
Yeah. Yes.
Not named Joker.
Yes. But here's the thing. In fairness to him, he's more of a cinephile person, given like what he's been doing.
Name a Joaquin Phoenix movie you've seen.
Her.
In the last 3 years.
Oh, but he ain't had nothing besides Joker. But I'm just saying he's not as mainstream. Okay, I'll give you a different one. Tom Cruise got a movie coming out.
I might see it.
Of course. You're thinking about it, right? Like you're like, yeah. Okay.
Sci-fi, baby.
Aldous Hodge got a movie coming out.
Who?
Aldous Hodge. He got a movie. Okay. Idris Elba got a movie coming out. But you'll think about it more than you would Aldous Hodge, right?
I don't think this is a fair test. I think, once upon a time.
Exactly the test.
I think
we're trying to gauge whether or not someone can carry.
When Message from a King came out, it was in between Civil War and I think Black Panther. And then the question came up, Chadwick Boseman's got a movie coming out. Was anybody going to run out and go see it? I saw it, but I was one of few. and my point in that is that it's not that a diss on Chadwick's ability or his career at that time. It's more so that Letitia has just never been given that platform to lead. So our default reaction is going to be that.
You're 100% right. And because of the fact that she hasn't had that opportunity, I don't want to throw her in the fire of the huge expectations. No,
I don't think it's the same thing. I don't think it's like you throwing her in a game with LeBron and she just came out a rookie.
You're not about to take a role player from college and throw him into the NBA Finals. You're not about to do that. You're not about to do after LeBron just got hurt. You're not about to do that. That's what's happening here. Now, would you take that?
I don't think that is at all a fair comparison. She is not at all a rookie.
Supporting character. I didn't say she was a rookie. Right? She's a supporting role character. She's a role player.
Steph Curry got hurt. Can Draymond get out and help us win?
Draymond's been a starter, and no, he cannot.
Supporting character.
We've seen what happened when it was only Draymond on the floor. No, he cannot. And here's the thing. Everybody, we like Draymond. Draymond's cool. Draymond's great.
He's great.
But he ain't winning you no ships. He ain't winning you no rings. People gotta understand. Like, can we just be honest? Can we just be honest and be like, yo, yes, let's give Shuri the shot later. My goodness. Why can't we take the time?
She can probably do it now. You know what?
No. But you're right. No. You're right.
Leave it for the audience. Leave it for the audience. How about that?
You're right. No, I'm gonna give you your props. You are right. She probably could. However, what I'm saying is that's a gamble. That's 50-50, right? That maybe
Chadwick
she
was a
made.
gamble.
No, he wasn't. Don't play with him. But look,
Black
50-50.
Panther was a gamble.
Letitia, stop it. Letitia was either going to make it work or it's not, right? It's 50-50. What I'm saying is,
Either made it work or didn't.
no, what I'm saying is increase the odds of her making it more successful by giving her more exposure. Invest
the same argument for
into
any
her
character. That's not unique to her, but I'm just saying that
Fine.
if they were able
Fine.
to thrust all these
I
other
don't care.
people
I don't
in
care. I don't
limelight,
care. You can give it to any other character. Give them more time and exposure before we just jump into Black Panther 2 with no Chadwick there.
I mean,
anybody. You're right. Give it to anybody else.
But apprehension with Thor, with Chris Hemsworth being an unproven actor.
I wasn't checking for them. I don't care about no
have
Thor.
This problem when Captain America got cast and everybody was like,
never cared about him. I never cared.
How are you casting him in this role?
Did nobody care about Captain America or Thor? This is what I'm talking about. The expectations were different. Stop playing. Stop acting like Thor had the same expectations as Black Panther.
I'm just saying.
No, you saying it wrong. You're saying it wrong. The expectations were not even close to Black Panther 2. Wasn't nobody dressing up like Thor nobody was dressing up like Vikings going to Thor. Wasn't nobody wearing their American flag going to Captain America First Avenger? What you talking about? What you talking about, bro? We was in dashikis for Black Panther. You don't think that the expectations gonna be even higher? Come on, man.
I think.
Stop playing with this property's name.
I think that audiences will be supportive of Letitia as they were of Chadwick. That's all I'm saying.
Will turn out. I think people will turn out for sure. I mean, I'm going. I don't care if they don't reach. I mean, I do care. But if they don't recast, I'm still going. I'm still dressing up. I'm still throwing a watch party. I'm still doing all of that. And like I said, there's no right or wrong answer with this. In my opinion, it's just a matter of degrees and levels, right? And all I'm saying is it's a better degree. It's a higher level if we just take more time to invest in Shuri, take more time to invest in Wakanda, take more time to invest in a new character if you want to. Do it more diligence rather than gambling with the high stakes that are already coming with Black Panther 2. That's all I'm saying. That's not unreasonable. I'm saying give me more of that so we can transition better into this big event that everyone is looking forward to. Why can't we take our time with this? What, like, I don't understand. I'm saying, yo, take our time and give us more. And you over here talking about like some, man, just throw it all in there. Just throw the kitchen sink at Black Panther 2. Throw in some new characters while we at it. What? I care about this property. I want to succeed as best as possible.
This is Wonder Woman's fault.
It actually is.
It really is. I was thinking about this.
Oh, you're right. And the reason why you're right is because of Wonder Woman's earlier success, Marvel and other properties were like, ooh, audiences are ready for a female-led movie, superhero movie. That was the case back in the day. That's why Black Widow, because keep in mind, Black Widow should have been had a movie out, but they never ended up doing it because they were afraid that audiences would be receptive. Yeah. Wonder Woman came out. They was like, okay, green light for Black Widow now. Green light for Captain Marvel. And then Captain Marvel, it made money. But let's be honest, if Captain Marvel was not placed right before Endgame, that wouldn't have happened. Or Infinity War, it wouldn't have happened. Right? If
AntMan would have came out then, it would have been $1 billion. Exactly. I know that.
Ant-Man benefited because of timing. And Marvel
Wait a minute. Didn't Ant-Man come out after Infinity War?
Yeah, it came out right after. That was before Endgame.
So how come that one didn't make $1 billion?
I don't think it's about the billion. I think it's about making more than what the previous one did.
I mean, it's the same logic though, right?
If I'm not mistaken, Ant-Man 2 made more money than
I'm saying like The
Why?
reason Captain Marvel did so well was because of the people's desire to get something from Marvel after Infinity War. And then we have a movie like Ant-Man, which was released shortly after Infinity War, not do the numbers that Captain Marvel did, which came out so much later. And if even if we wanted to draw parallels, we could look at, like, I think maybe Spider-Man Far From Home, which was released shortly after Endgame, and it also got some of the wave of success of the Avengers movie.
I'm trying to see when, because I forget, and I don't want to.
I remember it came out after it because they had the extra scene with the
No, no,
Thanos
no,
snap.
no, no, no. Ant-Man came out. Ant-Man 2 came out right after Infinity War, and then Captain Marvel came right after that, and that was before Endgame. So that sandwich was a perfect,
So my question is,
position.
how come Ant-Man didn't benefit as much as Captain Marvel did?
What do you mean?
Because Captain Marvel made $1 billion in the box office in between Infinity War and Endgame, and Ant-Man made like 300 or 300 something million.
I think it was the anticipation. Oh wait, did this come out earlier? Wait, March, July. Oh yeah,
It's
that
like
came out a year.
July.
Wait a minute. Don't forget the
And it was
hype
a
for
summer movie
Endgame.
too.
The
Ant-Man
hype,
was a
yeah,
summer
it
movie.
was. Ant-Man came out in April, so it was springish or whatever.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. I
No,
take that back.
Ant-Man had to come out in July because Avengers
Ant-Man
came out in
was
April.
July. Ant-Man was July. Captain Marvel was in March. I think that
In the
because
winter.
I'm more curious about the box office. How much did it make? Okay, so it made about 622 million.
Oh,
Which
that is more than the first one, I bet.
oh yeah. What did the other one make? The other one made only 519. So even with your own, you were talking about historically sequels don't make as much and stuff like that. Ant-Man 2 made 100 million more dollars because of its placement after Infinity War. I would say that is its own little reward, so to speak. But the Captain Marvel thing, I think a lot of that was just because we are so hyped up. I mean, Endgame was always on people's lips for like the entire year. Like all the hype, all that stuff. And then just to know that there was going to be some sort of post-credit scene for Captain Marvel to tie into Endgame and give us a clue, give us a hint. All of that stuff helped. But yeah, when it comes to like, people's ratings and, stuff like that, it just was not happening.
I'm sorry, I got off on a little bit of a tangent looking at the work of the director of Ant-Man and the Wasp, Peyton Reed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like he did the Back to the Future TV show. I didn't know there was a TV series for Back to the Future.
I didn't either.
The Weird Al show.
Yeah, they be doing like weird stuff that the producers be watching.
Yes, man.
Like the producers watch like random stuff and then they be like, yo, you know what? This person's dope. And it's like, okay, I see what your playlist looks like now.
Right. Oh, he did a couple episodes of The Mandalorian.
Yeah. He did some of the better ones. He did some did he do the last one? I think he did the last one. Yeah, I think he did the very last one.
He did a lot of TV.
Yes. And I wouldn't say, well, we came here to talk about Black Panther 2. I don't want to get too off topic.
We off topic. We done on to a long episode. We 20 minutes in.
It's your fault. That's your fault.
I tried to segue. Let's leave it to the audience like 3 times. He was like, no.
I need to because look, the reason why I go so hard about this is because I do think that people stop at the surface level with this stuff. Like a lot of times, and it's understandable. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with Marvel wanting to show respect and honor to Chadwick Boseman. That's dope. That's commendable. But that doesn't mean that there are other issues that come along with that. Like I said, you're stopping the story arc of a very prominent and up and coming popular character. T'Challa didn't just come on the scene during Black Panther and that was it. Like we still got a taste of him from Civil War, and that that in itself, if it wasn't for Spider-Man, he would have really been the bigger talk. If they hadn't included Spider-Man in Civil War, it would have been T'Challa. I did too because I was more hype about Black Panther more than anything. But all I'm saying is is that, when you can't just sit here and cut off this black character's arc so prematurely. When you do that, to me, elevate everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can keep on with the T'Challa character while you're doing that. Raise up Shuri, raise up M'Baku, bring in a new character, do whatever you want. I don't know. I'm just saying, whoever. I don't even care if you bring Killmonger back. All I'm saying is, I don't like the subtraction and substitution. I don't like that. I don't like it. Give us more. We are in a position where we need more representation, not substitutions or subtraction or anything like that. I'm not down with that. I don't like it. I want to see more of us on screen. And if we gotta go, it's after our story arcs are completed, just like every other white character gets the opportunity to do. Their fictional characters always get their stories finished. That, to me, is a much higher respect and a much higher honor, given the work
unless you're Kevin Spacey.
Unless you're Kevin Spacey, but even that was like, I mean, look, hey, if somebody's doing some illegal stuff or something, well, okay, now that's different, I mean, if we were talking about an actor that was doing child molestation and sexual aggression, okay, cut him off. That's fine. Ain't nobody, you can cut that person off. We ain't gonna trip over that. Like if R. Kelly was an actor somewhere or, whatever, if you want to cut him off, we'll understand that. But come on now. This right here, and don't even get me started on like how Chadwick approached these roles as if they were bigger than him. He knew that this stuff was bigger than him. I don't think he would have been cool.
I think he took that to every role that he was in. He treated every role as if it was
right.
That's
100%. 100%. And I don't think that he would be cool with just knowing that whatever path that I've created, if I'm Chadwick and I created this path, there's a dead end at the end of it. I'm pretty sure he was always about uplifting other people along the way and creating a path for others to follow. I'm more than positive he would have wanted some other black actor to come in and be like, you know what, Chad, I'm going to pick up that baton and I'm going to run with it even further. I'm going to do it even harder. And it's possible. And that's the other thing, by the way, that audiences act like they don't see it. And I make this comparison again. Our movie fan goers are just like sports fans. If we're in a situation where where our home team is losing, or we got a terrible franchise, you want to know what the cure is? Don't nobody say, oh man, I could never go watch sports ever again because we losing. No, you get
unless you're a Knicks fan.
Because if y'all got LeBron, y'all would have been like, hey, got my Knicks jersey back. If you started winning championships, hey, I'm a Knicks fan. That's it. Winning is the ultimate cure. If LeBron went to the Knicks, you'd be changing it up. You'd be wearing blue and orange all day. Would you not? Because you have the star talent. And that's what I'm saying. You put some star talent. You can't just get no random somebody and be like, here go y'all T'Challa. You
that.
Put a star.
If they, and they also they do that sometimes. Every once in a while, you put somebody who's not a proven star onto a huge stage, and they become Linsanity, right?
Sure.
They come through.
Given the expectations with this, I think you have no choice but to. And I'm not saying you have to go get him, but you need Will Smith caliber. You need someone that people can be like, oh, that's who y'all got for T'Challa? I think I can mess with this. And the thing is, nobody's going to realize this until it actually happens. Until it actually happens, then people going to be like, oh, you know what? I think I could see John David Washington as T'Challa. I think that could work.
And I would say the same argument with like Letitia.
And what?
As Black Panther.
Okay. Like I really want people to be so okay with this that they go watch it, and I don't want to hear not one complaint. I'm just saying, if the movie doesn't do very well, for whatever reason, I don't want to hear not one complaint about the movie and being placed on Shuri, because that is something that I am afraid of for her. I'm afraid that if the movie fails to meet whatever expectations that people already have for it, that the blame will go to her. And I think that would be unfair because we didn't give enough time to build her up.
Why don't me and you do this? Let's take on a challenge.
Do it.
And take the effort to go back and watch some Letitia Wright movies.
Go watch Small Axe.
I was gonna watch Guava Island.
Go watch Small Axe. It's more recent on what is it? Guava Island, the Donald Glover thing?
Yeah. She's in
it. She's a supporting character now. Yeah. So since you want to see her as a lead, go watch Small Axe on Amazon Prime. She is, the lead in one of those stories. I think it's like the second movie. And see that. See that and let me know if you can see her carrying a movie at that point.
She was in Ready Player One.
The fact that you don't even remember that, come on, man. But this is what I'm saying. She doesn't have a lot of experience.
To be honest with you, it'd be, it happens often where sometimes somebody gets cast in something, and then I look back and I found out I've seen like 6 movies they were in, and I just didn't know.
That. And usually they're supporting characters. Usually,
sometimes, or they're Jeffrey Wright.
He's like the definition of a great. I don't even want to regulate him to supporting actor, but he's not a headline actor. He's an actor. Like he's one of those dudes.
Or
like,
you're Giancarlo Esposito.
He is phenomenal. Phenomenal. I just want to say he's phenomenal. Like, I don't even want to speak ill about the man. I because if you give me a Gus Freeman, like Gus Fring, like you give me that movie, I'd mess around and go watch that. I can't recall any movie that he was the lead in that made me want to go see, but I do know every time I've seen him as the antagonist, I loved it. Like he killed that. I don't think so. That's what I'm saying. I don't recall anything that he's done as a lead like that. So that's kind of my issue. That's what I'm trying to say. He's been in so many things. And I just don't think people realize how much it's not a diss to be good at staying in your lane. Anyway, look, we're getting off track.
We've been off track. I don't know how to edit this. This is a nightmare right here.
You do whatever you want to do with this. Ask the audience whatever you want to ask them. We got to cut this off.
He was Ray Shogun.